Hello everyone and welcome to a new edition of Spinner's Talks, and this time I have Dee and John with me from CultureMee, and I will ask them to share with us their amazing story from a corporate life to an entrepreneur life. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks very much, Veronica.
Great to be here in this beautiful sunny Amsterdam today.
Amazing day, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
we brought
gorgeous.
the good weather with Ireland from us back over.
Took advantage to be outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first video outside actually.
Oh, great.
Good, excellent.
So, what made you give up a corporate position and start your own adventure?
Gosh, good question. I mean, for maybe Dee, you take it off. What was the
Honestly,
big
I
thing
can.
for you?
I worked in a corporate job from 2002 to 2013, so 9 years, and I can honestly say I was never fully happy in those roles. I mean, they were great from a social perspective, great for my career when I was training as an accountant and I moved into banking in London, but it was never truly me. I never truly felt happy in those roles, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, to be honest, I used to work with a company called CRH, which is actually Ireland's biggest company, and I loved it there actually. I was travelling all over Europe. I went to 150 locations in a 10-year period, meeting all these different cultures, learning about the business, learning from some of the top people in CRH, being mentored by a lot of them. So I really got so much from the experience. But when Dee came up with the idea of CultureMee, in an ideal world, in some ways, I would have loved to just join her directly from the word go. But of course, we couldn't do that. We had to have an income, keep things going, for example. But then when the first opportunity came to jump into CultureMee, it was back in December 2016. That's when since then I've been full-time. It's definitely been a transition, but for me, it's been just amazing to work on something you are deeply passionate about. And that's the difference.
Gives
That's
you
it.
the good energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do experience the same thing.
Yeah.
You don't have the security, however, you have the drive to go ahead.
And it's just you've real happiness to do something that you're jumping out of bed every morning to do, that you just love and you have a passion for. And there's just no comparison between my corporate life and the life I have now. They're like two different stratospheres, to be honest with you.
I think as well, and if you happen to be lucky enough to come across something you're really passionate about, that you can leave a small little mark in the world after you. We're only here in this world for a short drop in the ocean, really, when you think about it. And if you do come up with something that can have a bit of an impact, well, then go for it. Absolutely go for it. That can also be in a corporate world as well, if that's for you. But for us, it happened to be with the startup, CultureMee. We didn't hesitate.
I love that. Just follow your heart.
Follow your heart, absolutely. Yeah.
And for the people that watch us and they want to do this transition, what would be your advice?
I would say, honestly, don't give up your day job until you've been working on your idea for a while. I would say ideally get a partner, somebody that you can work with. Working on your own can be very isolating, and it can be really, really hard to get motivated if you're all day, every day on your own, especially for someone like me who's an extrovert, who likes to talk, who needs to throw ideas out there and let them bounce around. For me personally, the advice I would give is stay in your day job, work at your idea, see if it can grow some legs, see if there's something real there behind it. And secondly, if you can get a partner to do it with you, so that you're not alone, that you can share the trials and tribulations, because there will be many, both good and bad, but that you can share that with somebody, that makes a huge difference.
I think it's really, really good advice. I think another thing that I found for us in our experience, which was really transformational, was, we had played around with the idea and talked about even doing a startup before the idea of CultureMee came along. But for me, a big weekend, which was a big changing point, was Startup Weekend Amsterdam. We did that just over 3 years ago now at this stage, and you basically go in on a Friday with no idea what you're going to do, and in the space of a couple of hours, everyone comes up with an idea, and you break off into teams, and everyone goes after the different ideas. You've got to do the customer validation, you've got to build a prototype and present it to a group of judges. Yeah. And that for me was just, it was crazy. It was harem-scarem, running around, trying to do everything intense. But yeah. I just loved it. I really felt I was being stretched. I was using the full skill set that I have, and I love the whole idea of being creative and having fun with stuff and pushing yourself.
And I suppose that's the thing as well, when you're in a corporate job and you're doing your little job, and for me it was accounting or finance, it's one part, but actually it's nice to jump out and jump into everything and see
Understand
the
everything.
big picture and see how it all comes together. And so for some, the startup weekend in Amsterdam or wherever they're all over the world, obviously. It does kind of give you a good eye opener as into the different aspects of the business and what you need to think about. So for anyone out there, yeah, definitely who's interested in doing it,
I think so.
absolutely.
I think for any of the Spinners Talk viewers now at the moment, if you're in any way hesitant, try and dip your toes into something like that for a weekend. Whether it be a startup workshop or go to some inspirational people who've been through startups, or do like a startup weekend like we did in Amsterdam. You have them all over the world, and just dip your toes in and see if it's for you. Just go for it.
Because clearly it's not for everyone.
And it might not be for you, but at least if you try
This
it.
is a good advice, because I'm noticing this with a lot of my clients. They are very good at what they do, but that's such a small part actually of a business,
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
has so many facades that sometimes you're not aware of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hard to just plan for everything.
Yeah,
if
and when
you
you're
are not
starting
aware
off
of
as
it.
well, sometimes you're not aware of it either.
Well, I
So
give
you need
You're
a
just
hand to
learning.
make,
I
exactly.
give you one simple example. For example, for us, we had to learn how to produce videos. So we travel around the world, CultureMee, doing these culture videos to offer culture advice. But that's one thing to actually go to these great locations and pull up the great content and give the advice over the videos. But then you have to go and learn how to produce it, which is a completely different skill set. So, for example, that's one simple thing.
One that he does very well, I have to say.
Anybody,
I
no
love
matter,
your videos. They're
no matter
amazing.
what, no matter what video, no matter what business you're in, clearly you need to be able to market your business. And actually, a lot of it from now on is really through videos. So actually,
You do
learning
need
how to
videos.
produce videos is a skill set. Once you acquire it, you have it for the rest of your life. So I would definitely say that's one thing, for example, people could play around with, or at least try and understand how it's done. For me, was a big thing, I'd say. So that's one simple thing you could do, for example, at the weekends. Because when you do start your business, regardless what idea, you need to be able to do it.
Yes, marketing is something essential for your company, and
No,
anyways,
absolutely.
everyone does it, even if they don't do it consciously or they are not aware of that.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, everything will gonna change.
And it's so important. You can have for all the great ideas in the world. If you don't market it or no one knows about it, it's pointless.
What's the point?
So actually,
Exactly.
it's nearly one of the most important aspects of growing a business is knowing how to sell and market your business and get the word out there. And that's a challenge in itself. So it's definitely something that will be high on our list to let people know. Definitely learn a little bit as much, or get the great skill here, Veronica, to help you with with marketing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. One other question, because everybody talks about what great it is to have your own company and to go for it and to do what you love, and it is. However, it's also a hard job to do it.
Yeah. Very difficult.
What did you find the hardest in this journey?
Good question. What would you say?
I would say structure, because when you're going into your paid employment, you've certain hours, you clock in, you clock out, and you have to do it. But when you're working for yourself, well, okay, it's okay, I don't need to be there at the office for 9 o'clock, I can go in a bit later, so finding that structure and actually sticking to it, I would say is one of the biggest things I struggled with, because I started working from home initially, and it really was not working for me. I need to be around a social context, see people, see other people working, and get out of the house. Getting out of the house was super important for me. So that was one of the biggest challenges, I would say, is finding a co-working space that I enjoyed and getting out there and feeling like it is,
I had
a
the
real
same
job.
struggle.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
the same struggle.
I think
Yeah.
if I look at the two things that I would think about, I mean, clearly for us, regardless what business you're doing, work-life balance is a challenge. And thankfully, I'm doing this with my beautiful wife over here. I'm very lucky to be doing it. And of course, our baby Rosa, she's 23 months, has been to, by 17 months, she'd been to 23 different countries. She's a
Unbelievable.
passport you could dream of. But of
Travel
course,
more than you do.
exactly. But
It's unreal. Her
I'll
passport
be
is just
honest.
amazing.
I'll be honest. I mean, I am very driven. I'm pushing always on the business. I'm always switched on to it. And for me, it was almost a skill to be able to step back and actually really reprioritize family life is really important. And I think getting that work-life balance,
It's
because
still difficult.
because
It's
I think
especially at this stage of our startup, there's just
so much to be done.
much to be done.
and the challenge is, I think, with doing a startup, you can literally be sucked in. There's so much to be doing. It's like a never-ending cartwheel running around like a little mouse.
Yeah.
And I think trying to actually balance that is tricky. And the other thing I found that for me was definitely an adjustment was that when I was in my old employer, my old corporate, these guys were great at really rigorously analysing projects and risk and looking at what could go wrong and everything before you went and did them. And so I was in the whole mindset, between actually coming up with a project and actually doing it, to execute it and start it, could be 2 years. So here it was in CultureMee, and we had great ideas. We wanted to do market research. I think we did like 4 months solid of pure market research and surveys and different things, which is probably actually too much looking back in hindsight. Verifying and re-verifying the idea. Yeah. But in actual fact, the best advice I've ever seen really is get your product out and get it out ASAP. It doesn't matter what level you can build a product, an app, a prototype app in PowerPoint, and then turn it into a clickable PDF. And that's as good as pretty much the app that you could do.
And I heard something really that I loved a few weeks ago. If you're not embarrassed by your first prototype, you went too slow.
Exactly. 100%.
And I actually, that really resonated with me, because when I look back at the very, very first version, I'm like, oh God.
So yeah,
I wanted it to be like this, and honestly, it takes so long to develop. Like I honestly,
so like
that world takes so long.
If you're a corporate mindset, you'll have about 1,000 kind of point checklist to check, and then when it's absolutely perfect,
you gotta go to the market.
So it's almost like, think of it like you know, in your startup, you're in a speedboat, right? And you need to be able to navigate around the waters really quickly. That's you're agile. That's your advantage. But if you come from a corporate mindset, you come from like an oil tanker mindset where things move really slow, and you have to transition your mindset from the oil tanker to the speedboat, and you got to do it really quickly. And that's one of the things I think.
And by the way, you do need to do it quickly, but it still goes really slow.
Yeah.
Everything takes a lot longer than you think it's going to take.
I love that you said that, because everybody fights with this problem. You want everything yesterday. And in reality, everything takes double the time that you estimate.
Honestly, it really does. If you think something's going to take 3 months, well, 6 months in, you're still not going to be there. And that's just the reality of a startup, and that's especially when you're just a small team, of course. You have to do everything yourself. So that was another big eye-opener as well. Like everything just takes a lot longer.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's great. That's exactly it. There's some of the key things we'd advise.
I love that. It's and I can relate with everything. The fact that you need to get out of the house, you need to be patient with yourself. You need to actually make sure you have time for yourself as well, and your family, because otherwise you can't succeed.
No, you can't.
You're gonna collapse.
And it doesn't get enjoyable as hard. Like even now, I mean, we struggle. Well, we're so busy right now, and it's a good complaint. We're so super busy that obviously our work-life balance is a challenge right now. But at the same time, everyone says those first few years are crucial, and you just have to go with it, and we are. But I am looking forward to having a little bit more of a work-life balance, hopefully in the not too distant future.
Probably the challenge for us is, first of all, we moved continent from Asia to Europe. Secondly, we moved house.
We moved continent twice in the last
6 months.
6.5 months.
Then we moved house, and we did it with a 1-year-old baby. And on top of that, we're growing a startup in the middle. Are you mad? Are you absolutely mad? I mean, that's all.
You're my hero. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
Everyone can do it. Everyone can do 100%. It.
But that's definitely been probably a challenge. Things will settle down in the next few months, hopefully.
We hope.
And we'll get somebody of that. Like here's a funny one. We were 6 months over in Asia, in Thailand, in Phuket, some of the best beaches in the world, right? And I'm not joking. There was not one day Dee and myself just sat down by the pool or by the beach for the day and just relaxed. There wasn't. Not even a Saturday or Sunday. We were actually busy every single day. So that'll kind of give you a sense. But then again,
it was too hot some days.
Like maybe today in Amsterdam.
I could take this all day for sure.
Definitely.
That's great advice. I think I'll be able to stay all day long and just get inside your head and find out how you manage to do it. But what will be the last thing that you would like to pass to our audience, to our viewers? What would be?
Well, mine would be, if you do have a true passion that lies outside your day job, do it. Life is too short, and live every day, jump out of bed every morning and do something you absolutely love and are passionate about, and you will never regret it. You will never regret it.
I think for me, there's a video when I was in the corporate life that I watched. It was one of the managing directors that shared it. He was Dutch actually, and it really just blew my mind. And it was a video by a guy called Alan Watts called "What If Money Was No Object?" And I would suggest to anybody looking at this, please go into YouTube, type in Alan Watts, ALANWATTS, Alan Watts, "What If Money Was No Object?" Just watch it. It's a 3-minute video, and it will really, I hope, inspire you to find your own why and what's important to you, whether that's in corporate life or a startup life. But it's so important to do something that you're passionate about and you find your why. Once you find that, the rest is easy.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, the essence is you need to follow what makes you happy.
Yeah.
It's not about the money.
It's
not
not.
about the change. It's
And honestly, it's such, I mean, as hard as it is, we're so happy. We absolutely love what we're doing. And if anything, those 6 months in Asia reinforce that we're doing the right thing, because we want to be the masters of our own destiny. And so sometimes you just have to take big steps to accomplish that, or, you know, try to achieve that. So, yeah, absolutely.
this is what I believe as well. Just create the rules that you want to follow.
Absolutely.
And
You are the maker of your own destiny.
And I think kind of last point I made, and I'm definitely done after this, is it's a point we often make, Dee and myself. Sometimes the challenge of doing a startup can seem overwhelming, seem like Mount Everest. But there's a saying we often say every day: no matter what's facing us, what challenge is in front of us, is how do you eat an elephant bit by bit? And that's it.
Break
That's a great
everything
word.
down.
Break everything
If you
down.
look at something in the big picture, like, wow, it's too much, I'm overwhelmed, I can't do it, but break it all down.
Yeah.
Little chunks, and achieve one and move on to the next. Does make everything a lot more doable and manageable.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dee and John, I loved having you here. I'm gonna
Great
make
to be
sure
here.
I'm gonna place your link underneath, so make sure you check out there.
CultureMee, download the app, 2 E's. Shameless plug.
And hope to have another video soon.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we hope so.
100%.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Great
Thanks
to-
very
Thanks
much
for having
for
us.
it. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.